This is me, David Scott Hale. It says so right here on my birth certificate. Born December 29th, 1970, in Providence, Rhode Island. This is the first of many things I learned early in life that shaped my view of who I am. These are my parents. My mother's a nurse. My father was career Navy and civil service. With my love of all things tech, it's no big surprise I'm part of the National Institutes of Health. What can I say? I take after my parents. And I'm adopted. It was my father's shipmate in the Navy who told him about a child up for adoption who was diagnosed with a heart condition and would probably need surgery before he was a year old. My parents decided to adopt me anyway. Because of my diagnosis, the agency discounted the adoption fee from $3,000 to $25,000. My parents said it was the best $25 they ever spent. Maybe part of that discount was because the agency didn't have much background information. My biological father was Portuguese, my maternal grandmother was Narragansett Indian, which led to some culturally inappropriate baby pictures. That's a tomahawk in my hand. That's kind of like putting a gun in a baby's hand. And the diagnosis? It turned out to be false. I was fine. The only thing I suffered from was a lack of information. Growing up, I remember doctors asking my parents, is there a family history of this or that? The answer was always the same. We don't know. David's adopted. I think that's part of the reason I became interested in science. I've always been looking for the answers. When I joined the National Library of Medicine, I jumped at the chance to get involved in Native American outreach. I spent time on reservations, talked with the elders, and learned that being Native American is more than just being born on the res. But that didn't answer questions about my medical history, so I turned to personal genomics. This is the way it works. You spit in a vial, they sequence your genome, and the results tell you about your disease risks, traits, and ancestry. But not in the state of Maryland. Maybe if your doctor orders it and the results go in your medical record, what good is that? Looking for answers, I eventually found documents from the Maryland State Insurance Administration's Work Group on Genetic Testing. Predictive testing alters the individual's proclivity to purchase insurance. Insurers are concerned if individuals have more knowledge of their risk than the insurer. This is worse than credit scores. Screw this. I'm going across the border to DC. I called my friend Ted Etan, who lives in DC, and said, "Hey Ted, can I order a genetic test kit from your address? Maryland won't let me." He said, "Sure, whatever." I thought that was pretty cool, especially since Ted's a doctor. A few weeks later, we met at DuPont Circle, and I had my test kit. I did my spit test in the parking lot of a post office. It took a lot of spit to fill that vial. 2 weeks later, I had my results. When I logged onto the website and finally had access to my genome, what was the first thing I clicked on? Ancestry. Native American DNA is orange. European is blue. When I saw this, I realized there isn't a single snip of Native American DNA in my body. My inappropriate baby pictures, reconnecting with what I thought was my heritage, fiction. It was a moment of spiritual crisis I'll never forget. I'll also never forget the words of the Blackfoot elder that pulled me back from the edge. Being Native American is more than just being born on the res. He's right. We're more than the details of our birth. Here's my surrogate family medical history, complete with disease risks, carrier status for conditions I can pass on to my children, and some things I already knew. I have dark hair. I like caffeine. I have a predisposition to addictive behavior. Yeah, I didn't need genetic testing to tell me that. World of Warcraft told me a long time ago, right about when they started measuring my time online in months. Some of what I learned, however, did actually lead to positive changes in my life. I travel a lot for work, learning that I have almost 3 times the risk of economy class syndrome, blood clots in your legs on long flights. I started paying for the Economy Plus upgrades. Since then, I'm more rested, productive, and most important, happy when I travel. I learned I'm a slow metabolizer of caffeine, so it affects me longer. That explains most of college. I also learned that I have an increased risk of heart attack if I have too much. So while I still drink as much coffee as I used to, I usually drink it half calf now. Something unexpected was being contacted by distant relatives, identified by similarities in our DNA. It's pretty amazing to know a blood relative. One of my fourth cousins traces her Portuguese ancestry to Hawaii, where the Portuguese invented the ukulele. So maybe it's genetic that I play the ukulele. Regardless, it's my choices in life that brought me here tonight. Genetic testing took away a connection someone else gave me and helped me see that I'm free to be whoever I want.